Something occurred to me the other day when someone kind of commented, I love seeing that you like play a Strat at home and then you play a telly live. And I wasn't exactly sure what that really meant for me. Um, but I'm wondering maybe I'm not actually a Strat guy. And I don't know if any of you have had these kind of crises of identity. This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses. Yesterday I had two gigs with good buddies Charge. Finally got to play with Rowan, who is a great guitarist, but was playing bass for this gig. So it was a bit weird playing guitar in front of Rowan, and I'm sorry for butchering your parts and playing like a donkey. So we had one outdoor gig. For those who are in the know about Devon, Clist Hyden, the Five Bells Inn, was reopening. So we played in the garden there. It only rained a little bit, and luckily I just took the Fractal FM9 for rain. Not confirmed waterproof, but it didn't break. So yeah, I decided that I would take this guitar, and I had it in mind that I was going to use this guitar for one of the gigs, and then later on in the evening we went to Castle Street, and we were playing a set there as well. And I was going to kind of try and film the same song, but with the different guitars. So I was going to use the Telecasters Telly, and then the Strat. I ended up just using the Strat for the whole thing, but I do have some things that for me are perfect in the studio. Feel bedroom. It's a bedroom. Stop calling it a studio. But they don't work as well for me live. I'm not exactly sure why that is. But maybe in this video I might be able to stumble across the answer. So one of the things that I probably get this a bit with the telly as well is that sometimes the clean tones can just feel a little bit too thin, especially if you're using in-ears and the volume's not quite right, like the levels aren't quite right. What I find is that typically when I'm playing live, because, well, I don't know exactly why, but I think it's like a combination of nerves, combination of adrenaline, some other bits and pieces going on, and maybe like a monitoring situation as well. I tend to play quite a lot harder than at home and with more kind of tension. That's something that I need to try and be more aware of, and try and curb a little bit. it then kind of feels like, because good strats to me have a little bit of a springy feel to them. There's like an amount of give in them, and sometimes when I'm overplaying kind of live and like over sort of playing with too much pressure and stuff, that the Strat just feels a little bit kind of delicate. And then again, when the volumes are not quite right, it's a similar sort of situation where the cleans might seem like a little bit weak to me, a little bit delicate, and doesn't sing in quite the same way as like that gig that I had the other day with the ES335, where the cleans are just kind of bold and not thin. Basically, they just sound like round and thick, whereas the Strat can, for some reason, for me, sometimes not quite get there. And I noticed this with the Les Paul as well when I played it. When I was like playing live, it's like, oh, actually, that's the clean tone that really works for me quite well live. I don't get that quite as often with the Strat unless I have the volumes up quite a lot louder. The other thing is that a Strat can be incredibly expressive at home. And the other thing is that what I find is actually quite difficult kind of getting that balance between the neck pickup and the bridge pickup, where the neck pickup can sometimes, when you start to add gain, have so much bass in it relative to the bridge. And it's something that I don't notice as much kind of at home in the bedroom, but live, like, this can be really cut through like a lot, but also like the bottom kind of is not there. Whereas when you're playing live, this has so much kind of like low end to it. It's like, whoa, that's suddenly low. Versus that, which then sounds comparatively weak. So those are some elements. Like, I feel the Strat kind of rewards delicate playing and sensitive playing in a way that I'm not really playing live. I play like a donkey. So that's kind of why I'm thinking, it's a bit of a challenge. I really love having a trem there to kind of go to for like a little bit of stuff. I don't do like wild whammy stuff like I was doing yesterday. But for me, for some reason, the Telecaster Live actually seems to suit me a little bit better. I'm not exactly sure why that is. Because they're not totally dissimilar guitars, but I think maybe there's a bit more stiffness to a Telecaster in general, is what I've found. Like, it doesn't have quite the same sort of springiness to the sound. You also wouldn't have as much in the way of like the spring echoes and stuff like that you get with a Strat. And also things like bends are a little bit more predictable where you don't have the trem. That's a thing for me live, like hearing whether your bends are in tune and stuff can be quite tricky, because that's what I find with volumes, is that your kind of accuracy goes off because things sound more in tune when they're more loud is what I've found, and then you watch it back, you're like, that was a kind of flat bend. With a trem, you know, it's kind of like a moving target when you bend, because obviously they start to move, so that you have to kind of keep bending higher and stuff, or you know, adjust for how the trem responds to bending. Whereas the Telecaster, because it's fixed bridge, tends to kind of be a bit more predictable. I think those are some reasons why maybe live I'm not a Strat man at all. Like there's certain gigs where I can think of where actually playing a Strat has been really good for them, like if it was like a bluesy style gig, or you know, something a little bit more chilled. But like for a rock set, or like a standard cover set, I think even the ES335 I had a sort of more enjoyable experience, and certainly a Telecaster feels kind of right for that job a lot of the time. I don't know if you guys have felt the same about some of this stuff, or ever really thought about it at all, but I hadn't particularly until someone made that comment. I was like, you might have a point there. Is that okay to be a Strat guy in the studio and then take out a Tele live, or are you sort of cheating on the Strat? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Here's some playing from last night in the sauna. Yeah, sorry for the playing. Cheers for stopping by.
I'll tell you what, if a group of you comes here, right to the front, and then I'll give you the back.